Okay, we are here. Good
Yes.
morning, world. Can you
Very
believe?
good morning.
Can you believe 6:31 in the morning we are here? This,
Yes,
my friends, is called
6:31.
a gig.
I mean, this right now, this is a
And
gig, right? This
mm,
is a
and
gig.
you can see that we have some very special lighting effects for the gig because every time Roger and I start talking, Zoom believes in doing this. So anyway, let's be very formal and proper about it. I'm in my full TV star mode today. And
Actually, your entire video got paused. I mean, you're frozen.
I'm not frozen here.
I mean, your video is frozen.
You are not able to see my video.
Yeah, now it's better. Now it's better. Okay, now you turn your video off. All right.
Well, a very good morning. And guess who's
Very good morning.
hosting you today? Two of us are hosting you today. Two of us are hosting our audience today. And this is going to be a regular chat show from us. So here's a very warm welcome from Roger and Chakra Incognito. Okay, I dare to put my face there. This is an early morning TV star face. I was wondering, I was asking myself today, who puts on makeup at 6 o'clock in the morning? Then I decided, oh well, maybe those reading the news on TV.
Yes, probably. Even the people who go to work at this hour, I mean,
And
not
I figured out, airlines people at any odd
yeah,
hour, at
yeah.
any odd hour, they are just dressed to the teeth and looking so perfect.
I mean, this is still a normal time to put on makeup. I mean, they are putting on makeup
But I
at
was
around
thinking, first thing in the morning, who puts on makeup? Then I thought, oh, well, I've seen brides do it at all odd hours. They'll be sitting there and somebody will be painting their face up. So I
Yes.
said, what the hell? And I would have just come on here with my sleepy face, but I said, no, this is the first time. And looks like we are going to be doing this every week at 6:30 in the morning. So better
Absolutely.
look prim and proper. So Roger, where is your makeup? This is a gig.
My makeup. I chose to be totally natural.
Well, at least open your hair out. Clearly, no airline will give you a job.
That's for sure. I will
Well,
never
tell me
consider it.
something. Music gigs may end at this hour, right?
A few of them, yes, yes.
Yes. But do they ever start at this hour?
Probably we never know. I mean, uh, if we
Yes,
talk about the festivals, they do, right?
yes. Well,
They do
gigs
start
like right
early
now,
morning.
Dover Lane is going on. Dover
Yes,
Lane Classical Music Festival is going on, and I'm
yes,
guessing that someone must be playing right now some early morning raga.
yes, yes,
Welcome
yes,
the sunrise.
yes.
And then they'll all
That's
be back in the evening and they'll be
yeah,
playing all over again.
yes.
Well, see, let me ask you a question. What does
Hmm.
a gig mean to you?
Yeah, I knew this question was coming. uh, a gig, see, a gig. Normally, we use this word gig for a lot of instances. Like normally, in a very generic situation, normally we hear this phrase, "You got the gig." We
Hmm.
got this. We get this statement that you got the gig. So, if I decipher that statement, it would be like a gig is a place where you can showcase your your talents, let's say, not only talents, your potential, A gig is an opportunity to showcase your potential, I think so. It could be anything. If you crack a job interview, you got the gig.
Well, you know something, I was looking up gig,
Hmm.
exactly what it means.
Hmm.
And here we go. Let me just tell you.
Okay.
I hope I'm permitted to type on the show.
Yes, you are. It's your computer.
Just a minute. See, it tells
Yes.
me gig
Hmm.
is slang for a live musical performance.
Yes.
Originally coined
And
in the 1920s by jazz musicians, the term,
hmm.
short for the word engagement, now refers to any aspect of performing, such as assisting with and attending musical performance. More broadly, the term gigging means having paid work, being employed.
Yes, see, an opportunity to
So,
work.
so it means paid work. And please don't shake my head around Zoom, because if you shake my head around like this, I'm going to ask Zoom to pay me.
Like the bobbleheads, like they go like
Yes,
this.
yes. I mean, this is an extreme case of head banging. I'm not, no, I'm not,
Even
guys.
Zoom cannot comprehend your
I'm
head
not
banging.
performing at a metal gig, nor am I in the audience. This is a very different kind of gig.
Yes,
Now, our friend Roger here has a day job.
yes, I do.
Okay. And our friend Roger here does his day job at night. I dare not say that our friend Roger here has a night job, because that would sound extremely shady. Now, the fact is that Roger gets paid for his day job.
Yes.
On the other hand, I don't have a day job or a night job or any job. So
Hmm.
everything I get is a gig.
Yes, like this,
In
for
the
an instance,
sense,
right
in the
now, this is a
sense,
gig, no?
this is a gig, but this is an unpaid gig for both of us.
Yes,
And on the other hand, the whole purpose of having these unpaid gigs is so that we may get some paid gigs.
yeah.
Because
Even I have
we
the habit.
because we march on our stomach.
I have the habit of unpaid gigs, but all right.
Yes, but to have the habit of unpaid gigs, you need a day job at least to pay your bills.
Yes.
Now there's a very huge, we were talking about this the other day on Facebook, where I had put out the word gig and asked people to respond what the word means to them. You may recall I did this. And people were speaking of it in in the Western context. I mean, we in today's contemporary scene think of a gig as, okay, we have got this opportunity to play, and we're also, by implication, we're also getting paid for it. Like, see, I got that Saturday night gig at some place else.
Right.
You're not
Yes.
going there to do dharmdan. You're going to
Right.
some place else and you're getting paid.
Absolutely.
It's quite another matter that some place else is getting paid too. By all
Yes.
the people, by the hordes of people who go there and drink.
Yes. Absolutely. But at this moment, it's not a gig for them anymore. It's a regular routine.
It's a
I
regular
mean, it was.
routine for them,
Yes.
but it's not a regular routine for the musicians, except for some
Absolutely.
of them.
Absolutely.
You see, so some people, but whoever you are, when you're hired for a job like that, even if you're hired on a regular basis, like I have been hired by a school on a contract,
Right.
I got nothing except the money they gave me for the time I worked. for whatever I delivered. So
Yeah,
that was a gig.
that was a gig. That was
They
a
were
gig.
not looking after me in any sense. There was no liability. I went
No,
there, I performed, I got out of there.
absolutely.
There wasn't even a contract that said that we'll call you next week again. It was just an unspoken, unwritten agreement that, say, on Saturday, when whatever it is I did, the show, let's call it the show, ended, everybody said, see you next Saturday, same time.
Really?
Yes.
I mean, in
That's,
your
that's,
school, you're
that's
talking about your school, right?
not my school. I'm talking
I
about
mean,
a school that hired me.
yeah.
Okay, to do some soft skills training to their students. Now,
Got it.
one fine day, well, it was understood, and yet some things are, in certain setups, some things are an understanding. Okay, we want you to do this every Saturday for us, and this is for the academic year. This is the batch you'll be teaching, and that's so such and such a time, say year or semester, whatever it is. Those children, students are expected to deliver XYZ, whatever,
Absolutely.
which means
Right.
you have to prepare them to deliver XYZ.
Yes.
Well, there's a very casual piece of paper that says, okay, we welcome you to join on a weekly basis. And you are
Okay.
getting so much per week for so many hours, and this is what we look forward to. It's all very nicely worded
Right.
and signed
Yes.
off by a school principal.
Yes.
A
Absolutely.
nice, it's a nice typewritten letter, very
Hmm.
friendly, on the school letterhead, but it says nothing more. So basically, it's like someplace else saying, okay, every Saturday you're on at 9 o'clock.
Yeah. That's it.
That's
I
it.
mean,
But
yeah.
one fine day, one fine Friday, someplace else can call you and say, tomorrow we don't want you.
Yes.
They can also, and when you ask them, okay, then do you want me the following Saturday? They tell you, we'll let you know when we next want you. End of the
Hmm.
story. So,
Yes.
this is something that it's anybody's guess how long it will go on. Most
Hmm.
of these things don't have a clear contract.
We don't. Yes.
Get it?
Perfect.
Now, for a self
Yes.
employed person, somebody like me, it's
Absolutely.
basically it's this way. I have a workshop on X date. Three, four
Yes.
people sign up for the workshop, they pay up, we
Hmm.
have the workshop, they go. Everybody's
Yes.
happy. They recommend me to another person. Next time a workshop comes, three, four people come. Now, one fine
Right.
day, nobody may come for a workshop, which
That's a
means
possibility.
which means that at some point in time, you have to be able to predict. You have to be able to, you see, the most difficult thing for people whose livelihood depends on gigs is that there is absolutely nothing you can rely on in a gig scenario.
Except for
It
yourself.
is
No.
entirely hand to mouth.
Yes. No, except for yourself in certain ways. No.
You rely
Like,
on yourself, you rely on your ability to deliver, but you cannot rely on the either ability or the interest or the willingness of the market to receive.
yeah, that is
Today
something you
you're
can
playing
never.
in a lot of places. Suddenly those
Yeah.
places like want somebody else to play
Hmm.
because somebody else seems to be a better crowd puller.
Yes. Then I
So
lost the gig.
you lost the gig,
That's
right?
yes.
So
Yes.
what can we do to
Hmm.
to make these gigs, as in to make self-employment something more dependable, something which, to make the needs of self-employed persons, to bring them into focus and to have people respect these needs more.
People actually, you have said a really nice sentence over here, like respect the needs. I mean, I'll emphasize on the word need, because these are few things that people do need. It's not
Hmm.
only that they want it. Uh I mean, cut off music from people's lives for the next 50 years, just bar people from listening to music, or perceiving any kind of art, bar people from doing that, and there is gonna be chaos because your mind needs to vent out to something. But I think the people have become too arrogant to, acknowledge that need.
The
People
need
don't
to
acknowledge that
receive
need.
art, the need
Yes,
to give art,
receive. Yes,
the
yes,
need to
yes,
exchange art. It is an energy
yes,
exchange.
yes.
You need it.
Precisely what I'm saying.
I'm in the audience. I need it too.
Yes. For example, you heal people,
Yes,
and by God's grace, you do it for a living as well, times, right?
yes.
Now, I don't know, you do acknowledge it, I acknowledge it, but a lot of people might not acknowledge that, healing is a form of art. Or even those people are so careless that maybe at some point in their lives they make something which could be called an art, but they won't acknowledge their own work as an art. People have
Give me an
failed to
example.
acknowledge their own needs.
Give me an example of this. We need to create art, right?
Hmm, yes. I'll give you an example. All right. So, a few days ago, I think you have seen that post that was circulating in Facebook that, um, day jobs and AI or artificial intelligence shouldn't be making art, or shouldn't be making, you put in some keywords and they give you a picture.
Mm-hmm.
It draws for you, paints for you.
Mm-hmm.
And a post was circulating that it shouldn't be making that. It shouldn't be, rather, um, day jobs should be, um, done by computers, and artificial intelligence shouldn't be used for making art. Now, my question is, people, I mean, I'm gonna upset a lot of people over here. If I say this, I might upset a lot of people over here, but let's say,
Mm-hmm.
artificial intelligence shouldn't be making art. That's a very, I mean, that doesn't make sense, because if we look at it in that way, the
Mm-hmm.
person who coded the artificial intelligence, that code is an art for that coder. So
Yes.
that artificial intelligence itself is
Mm-hmm.
the art
Mm-hmm.
that is building art. So why can't we acknowledge that code as an art? Because, yeah, I mean, art, music is art for me, sketching is art for me. All right, healing is art for you. Why can't be coding art for the
I
coder?
think coding absolutely is art for the coder. The
Absolutely.
whole
See,
point here is, where is that art deployed? See,
that art.
healing is art for me.
Yes.
Healing, quote unquote, is also
Yes.
art. I may upset a few people, is
It
also
is.
art for a lot of fly by night charlatans.
Yes. Yes.
XYZ
That's true.
with a flowing beard and some kind of a rope, no offense to anybody,
Yeah, that's true.
starts gaining a market share as a healer.
Yes. Yes.
So that is his art or her art,
Yes. Yeah,
whatever.
that is selling, selling something that isn't there, that is the art for that
That's
person,
also
no?
an art form. Selling
Yes.
something that
For the
isn't
charlatans,
there.
that's the art for the
So
charlatans.
he is an illusionist of sorts then.
Uh, you could say a
A trickster.
manipulator, I would say, but
So
yeah,
being a trickster is also an art form. So
absolutely
you come to the borderline between ethics and art. You see, hacking also is an art form.
is an art. Yes,
But ethical
yes,
hacking, why do you hear the word ethical hacker?
ethical hacking. Yes.
Should
Now
you hack
here,
to disturb someone? Should you hack to, so should you create AI to take away somebody's livelihood?
no. See, here is something that I have.
The man who creates the AI is not concerning himself with whether he's taking away livelihood or not. For him, it's an art form. You there? Have you frozen? Roger, you frozen. Oh dear, are we getting disconnected? I'm sorry, folks. We lost Roger. He's disappeared somewhere. Looks like some artificial intelligence doesn't like us.
Yeah, it just Zoom. I think Zoom has some kind of enmity with me.
Well, you see, we are discussing the ethics of artificial intelligence.
Ethics of art.
And at some
Yes,
level, all these things are artificial intelligence. I mean,
absolutely.
a simple computer code also is a very rudimentary form of artificial intelligence.
Yes, it
It
is. It
looks,
is.
it's again a kind of a trickster. It acts as if, it gives you the impression it's done something intelligent. It actually
Yes.
hasn't. But the coder who wrote it has done something intelligent if he
Yes.
wrote good code.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
every form of intelligence then can be art.
Yes, it could be.
So where then does any piece of work become art and not be art? Is everything creative you do art?
Uh, that is a very tough question to answer because you are creating something. If you're being creative, it means that you're creating something. Just means that you're creating something. But is it art?
Hmm.
I would say yes, it is art. But then again,
What
whether
is
art
art
can
then?
be,
Today we are
it is
philosophizing on what is gig, but then have
what
we
is.
stopped to ask ourselves what is art? If you notice,
Yes,
my service says healing through creative resources.
yes, it does.
I have not said healing through art.
Right.
At the
Yes.
same time, by implication, I talk of art all the time.
Yes.
And I
You
tell
do.
you somewhere by both directly and indirectly that
Mhm.
there, there are creative resources available to us within us and without us. Now, there is a way of deploying them which
Right.
can be art. There is a way of deploying anything which can be art. But then
Right.
if you look
That's
at
true.
nature,
Hmm.
nature in every aspect is art.
Yes, it is. Uh, now, when this question arises that what is art, then we
Hmm.
cannot be biased only towards the ethical side of it, you know. Now that you talk about nature, if I say that a flowing river of fresh water, which probably gives water to an entire village, that's an art, then what about the volcano? Isn't that an art?
Of course it
That's
is.
also an art. Of course, it is an art. It's destructive. It harms people. But then again, being unbiased, that's art as well.
And besides, a volcano
Hmm.
is not gifted with any ethical sense.
Yes, it is not gifted with any ethical
If
sense until and
we
unless you believe
if
in
we
the soul
throw
of Mother
somebody
Nature.
into a volcano, that was also art, maybe. Actually finding an appropriate technique to pitch that person into the volcano without pitching yourself into the volcano and getting hurt.
Too many charlatans all around.
So you are also practicing art. So then
Yes.
we come again to the question, good art, bad art.
Good art, bad
And
art,
then it
yes.
becomes very judgmental because who decides? So who decides on ethics?
Who
Is there
decides
an
on
ethical
ethics?
factor? An aesthetic factor. You can't confuse aesthetics and ethics because
That's true.
aesthetics are about how you respond to something. That is your aesthetic sense.
Yes. Yes.
And we
That is
tend
true.
to, as a collective, impose certain aesthetic norms and say, okay, this is it, that is not it. But then who said?
That's true. You see, I believe when ethics comes into picture, I believe that if if your art or your creation isn't hurting somebody, isn't hurting uh your, I mean, isn't hurting anyone, I think that's ethical. If somebody is offended by someone, that's again aesthetic. That's what you're talking about. That's
Oh,
aesthetic of that
yes,
person.
yes,
That's
yes.
that's
Offense and
art.
hurt are two different things.
Yes. For example, I could call the atom bomb an art, a work of art.
Hmm.
But then again, it was unethical because it hurt so many people.
Yes.
It's not that people were responding to the atom bomb in a certain way. They literally died and they suffered.
Hmm.
So now that's where ethics comes in.
I would be amazed, if some miraculous person, especially gifted person responded to an atom bomb
Seriously,
without
I
a
mean,
scratch.
you dropped an atom bomb on my roof. I'm offended. If somebody said that, that would be.
See, but then if somebody fires a pataka, a
Hmm.
cracker, a chocolate
Yes,
bomb very near you,
yes,
you are hurt. Your
yes. You are.
eardrum
I
can
mean,
be.
burning a pataka probably isn't an art because you are not creating anything. You are just bursting something that is already created.
Yes, so for that matter, if I hang up a painting, that's not art.
Hmm.
But then somebody created that art. And if I hang
Somebody
that,
created that.
I may hang those paintings up in such a way that it creates
Hmm.
art.
Yes.
The way I
Now
decorate my
that's
house is very artistic.
yes,
You bought that
yes.
painting and you just kept it somewhere.
You see, art is like bacteria, it gives birth to itself. You see,
You know something?
uh,
The people
yeah.
who are listening to this must be asking what these two have been smoking at 6:30 in the morning. Because I am frankly clueless what we are talking about. And
We are
meanwhile,
talking about art.
mean, mean and this is the most beautiful thing about freewheeling. because you
Yes,
don't know where you start, you don't know where you end, you don't know whose toes you step on. But then fortunately, you're here on Zoom, so nobody's actual toes are in your way.
that's true.
So nobody can really get hurt by two people talking on Zoom. Just as
Right.
nobody can get hurt by somebody writing a book, which is why it's senseless to ban a book.
Yeah, it is senseless to ban a book. Why ban a book? It uh, that again, acknowledges the point of the book. If you think, like, let's say somebody wrote a book, and somebody thinks that that book is so powerful that that the notes on that book can overthrow that particular person, and that person bans the book. What happens is that person is acknowledging that the book is so powerful, the book is more powerful than the person itself.
So basically, you're giving away the power of your agency to somebody's book.
Yes.
Your own agency is given away to that book.
Yeah, it implies that you are scared of the book if you're banning the book.
Well, that book must be some pretty powerful art, because art
Absolutely.
is not meant always to be pretty.
Yes. See,
Art,
it talks about etymology as
art
well.
can break you to pieces.
It can,
So does that
definitely.
mean that art hurt you and you're going to sue the artist?
Uh,
Because
no,
of
you
your
cannot.
emotional response to a work of art?
No, you cannot. Uh,
Where do you draw
Depends.
the line?
Again, depends. Again,
Elastic
depends.
boundary.
Mm, yes. But again, it depends. Like just a moment ago, you said that, how we respond to an art, that is a different thing. And some kind of art that hurts you.
Mm.
If it's the art that is hurting you, then probably you can go against the artist. If it's hurting you, if it's not triggering some kind of emotion in you, but it's hurting you, literally it's hurting you. For example, the
Okay,
atom
so
bomb
are we defining hurt only as physical hurt?
uh, probably yes, probably yes,
Healers
because
and mental health practitioners will not approve of this.
no, why I'm talking about this is because uh you see, if I say that some kind of art which is unethical, that's unethical because it triggers some kind of emotion, it triggers some specific kind of emotion in a specific kind of a person, then again that is very subjective, no? That is
Triggering
very
an
subjective.
emotion that um, that makes that person harm somebody else. That's generally where ethics, that's how ethics
No,
tend to
that
be
is that
defined.
is
But what if
that
it
is that is
triggered an emotion that broke
Mm.
that person in a way that that person couldn't recover? The person themselves. You know, they say hate speech.
hate
Hate
speech,
speech
yes.
means there is art. Okay, speech, let's even look at a speech, a well written speech, as a work of art. And that
Yes.
work of art did its, it achieved its objective of kindling hate in people. And those
Right.
people turned their hate into action, as in harming somebody else
Others.
as a result of that. But what
Yes.
if that speech was something that provoked the person to break down mentally or emotionally, not hurting anybody else, not going and beating up the neighbors, but
Break
becoming
down
an emotional
emotionally.
wreck as a result of,
That would
like,
be
so often people say, I heard that song and I was an emotional wreck.
yes. No, then I would say that yes, certain kinds of art forms. I was referring to books specifically.
Mm,
That's why I said that. I
mm,
was referring to books. For example, there are a few books. uh, that has offended a specific section of the society and that has given a new perception to
Hmm.
another section of the society. I'm
Hmm.
talking about those kind of art forms. I'm not talking about something, again, if your art is intended to hurt somebody, if that's the motive of your art,
Hmm.
then obviously that's unethical.
How do you examine
Even if it's not.
motives? The person will deny it was his motive.
Hmm, right
So
now
often
that's
we
the.
write not intended to offend anybody, not intended to resemble XYZ. You know the disclaimers that go with any work of art.
Yes.
Very elaborate
Yes.
disclaimers.
Yes. Now that's the loophole of every piece of art. That's the loophole of every piece of art.
So you gave me a new word here, loophole.
Hmm.
So what did we really look at today, right now in this session? Because clearly I see that we have to log off this one and start another one. As you
Yes.
can see, Zoom is threatening us. Zoom is also a work of art. Zoom,
Yeah, it
see, Zoom
definitely
also
is.
is basically a gig.
Yeah, it's a gig. It's a
You exceed
temporary.
you exceed
So
40
temporary,
minutes, Zoom wants money. What do I tell people? I will chat in the chat box for 10 minutes. Anything more than 10 minutes, you have to sign up for 1 hour. See, Zoom is
Yes.
my guru in this. I'm emulating Zoom. So people try to chat in the 11th minute.
You
But
never
I
know
have
where
I
inspiration
have to
strikes
be like
deeper.
Zoom and I have to be like Zoom and say good night when the 11th minute comes. So basically, Zoom also is, you know, making us pay Zoom to become paid customers or to do our beloved jugaad and go on doing 40-minute sessions and stitching them together.
And knowledge is sprouting out of every single thing you see. It's just for you to, capture it. You are capturing it from Zoom. That's a
I am
big thing.
capturing,
You're
I am
getting
learning this art from Zoom. I haven't learned
Zoom.
it very well as yet, going by the rate of sign-ups. So before I close this section of our
Mhm.
long chat, which is intended to be
Mhm.
on gigs, and we shall resume
Yes,
it now, resume the next part actually on gigs. I will
actually
request
on
all of
gigs.
you, please like, share, subscribe, comment, and for
Please
God's
do.
sake, sign up because this is my gig.
Absolutely.
And
So we are coming back in just
we
a
are
couple of
coming
minutes
back
then.
into focus just as we close. So
Absolutely.
now it's time for a coffee break because it's a little
Yes.
past 7 and I'm into my fourth coffee. So here you are.
Probably I'll make another cup of coffee as well.
You make another cup of coffee and I'm going to go into my fifth now. So anyway, bye
Absolutely.
everyone for now. Back, see you again in a few minutes.
Absolutely.